Hello everybody, and this is Chaos with Chaos Esports Production, bringing you some more Heart of the Swarm 1v1 Bronze to Masters tutorial-esque playing. I don't know what to call it at this point. Basically, this series is all about giving you guys some, opportunity to see kind of the different strategies that I'm trying as a Protoss player, and just kind of see how they work. And get an idea of things that you can do to improve your game. I try to be consistent and kind of talk about some of the basic mechanics for people who are in the lower leagues, but I also like to try and kind of, I don't know, talk about general strategy and kind of things that you should be worried about. PvP, one thing I I played about, I don't know, 10 or 15 unranked games and found that a lot of people at the platinum and even diamond league tend to go for proxy cannon rush, which actually really surprised me because with all the new units, you would think that people would more so want to try and experiment a little bit with kind of what's going on with the new units. So anyways, so obviously with that, I just decided to do a really early kind of check around my base to see if random probe was in my base, and actually found that he was trying to do that. I actually talked with the guy afterward, and he said, yeah, that he was trying to do a proxy gateway type play. And when he threw down that pylon, I probably shouldn't have taken as many probes off of working, because I mean he just canceled it, so basically I just lose mining time, he loses 25 minerals, and the likelihood of him losing less than me is probably small. So anyways, I send a probe out to kind of check out his base, and I see that there's already a gateway down, so he's not looking to cannon rush me, and at this point I've already forgotten forgotten my second pylon, so I get a little tripped up, which obviously isn't good. Never good in PvP, because getting pylon blocked is the worst. So yeah, now I just want to pause for a sec. A lot of people, I don't know, some people like to get the Zealot, some people don't. I tend to go with getting the Zealot first PvP because obviously they're really good tanks for damage. So if even if you've only got, if it's 2 stalkers versus a Zealot and a stalker, you don't necessarily have an easier time to do damage to their stalkers, but it does make them have to micro a lot more, and if they aren't paying attention, they'll lose their stalkers, which is obviously not good for them. So I choose to go ahead and get the Zealot first, and I probably behind this should have also went ahead and taken my second gas, because PvP, obviously you can go one of two ways. You can go Robo or Stargate. I don't necessarily recommend going Twilight Council, just because even if you're trying to take up to DTs, if they go Stargate or Robo, they have some form of detection, so DTs are not exactly the most ideal. Now if you warp them into Archons, I'm not sure how that would go, but in general, looks like I made a mistake and actually had an extra probe there. Oops. So anyways, so I get the Zealot, and I kind of just scatter around with this probe, making sure there's no proxy pylons after that one probe left my base. And so Stalker's out, everything's good, and I'm just kind of saving up for my Stargate, and I believe I also put down gateways 2 and 3 soon. There's gateway 2. And okay, maybe not. And then he tries to poke in with a stalker, and obviously I deny any scouting, which is awesome because we don't want him to know what we're doing. So I can't remember how late maybe I put that third gateway down a little later. Oh, yeah. So, anyways, so now I have one of two options with going Stargate. Actually, I guess one of three. I can build Phoenixes, I can build Void Rays, I can build Oracles. What I like to do, obviously Oracles are fairly fast, and Void Rays are a heck of a lot slower than everything, but Void Rays are super strong against armored units with the prismatic alignment, so it is super critical that Void Rays, in my opinion, I think Void Rays are a heck of a lot more cost efficient. They take a little bit longer, they take 60 seconds as opposed to 50 or 35, but in general they're stronger in a head-to-head battle. So I choose to get the Void Ray over the Oracle or the Phoenix, and I'm pretty sure fairly soon. I don't know when he does it. Yeah, there. So he sends in an Oracle and does a fair amount of damage. I think he took out 4 probes. So he did a fair amount of damage with that. And at this point, having seen the Oracle, I can surmise one of two things. If he has gone heavy into Stargate, this army is probably going to do fairly well. Because the likelihood of him having gone Mass Oracle or Void Rays after this is probably smaller than him going into Phoenix, because Phoenix build a lot faster. So I'm kind of, at this point, I'm just like, well, let's put on a little pressure and see what we can do. I was a little worried because when I spawned into the game, I noticed that this guy was a Masters player. So I was kind of a little worried that I was like super far behind already, when in fact I was actually ahead because of all of the probe shenanigans earlier. Just in case, I went ahead and left a Stalker and a Sentry behind to deal with any more Oracle harassment, because obviously we don't want our probes getting taken out. I probably 17 probes on the mineral line isn't too bad. I go ahead and build up a pylon here, and I see, oh, he's trying to expand. So I'm like, well, let's plant down that force field at his ramp so he can't touch us. We notice he has a handful of Phoenixes, so we kind of go up and see that he doesn't have a whole lot of units actually. So we use our prismatic alignment. Obviously, our Void Rays get focused, but we take out the majority of his army at the cost of 2 Void Rays, which isn't too bad. So we continue to warp in, and at some point I come back here and start building Void Rays again to get them over. And he has a mothership core out, so he has used the photon cannon thing that is really long and does lots of damage. So at this point I'm just kind of chilling out at kind of at the ramp, because obviously this we want to avoid at all costs. So this is now more or less a micro battle. He has 3 gates and a Stargate. We have 3 gates and a Stargate, and I'm in a position where basically it's just a matter of who can out micro the other person. I get some pretty good engagements and some free hits on some units, whereas he's just trying to micro me out. When you get into this type of position, obviously it's going to be critical that you kind of understand how your units are set up, and I personally like to put everything on a hotkey and then have major buildings on another hotkey so I can like build from it. And I probably, as opposed to like warping this into a particular Stalker, I should have probably just rallied it to the pylon. That would have made it easy. So as of right now, his Stalker count is actually a lot higher than it. Well, what? Let's see. I'm gonna pause. He has 7 Stalkers. I have 6 Stalkers. So obviously he's got a few more Stalkers, but the Void Ray kind of tilts it in my favor, because the Void Ray just annihilates things really quick. And he chose to focus down the Void Ray, so I can sit here and pretty much just kind of take out his units. No big deal. You know, I don't recommend, if you're kind of in the lower leagues, I don't necessarily recommend this style of play, because it's very risky. You make one mistake, and it looks like I attacked my own zealot. Well, that's interesting. It's very risky to come in here and actually win the game from it, just because it's really hard to mechanically do everything correctly. I wouldn't say that this is pure skill. I would say this is probably a little bit of luck behind this. But in general, this type of strategy, you know, can be effective. You just have to understand what your opponent's doing and be able to respond to it in such a way that tilts the battle in your favor. Obviously, had I not noticed the little photon overcharge thing from the Nexus and walked in there, I would have died. You know, so you gotta understand what's going on. But I was I was giggling with joy after this game just because he was a Masters player, and I don't know if that's the first Masters 1v1 person I've beaten. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed kind of this rough overview of this game. If you like the strategy, feel free to, or have any comments about the strategy, feel free to leave comments in the section below. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, and if you want to see more content from me, I try to submit content a couple times a week. I do kind of one big bulk session and then kind of disperse it out throughout the week. So if you'd like to see more content, feel free to subscribe, and I will see you hopefully next time.